At my son's wedding, I discovered my daughter-in-law's hidden hatred, a heartwarming revelation. Judy stood at the entrance of the church, her heart pounding. The sun cast a golden hue over the pews lined with floral arrangements, peonies in soft pinks, a stark contrast to her humble life. Today, her son Tom would marry Emily, a stunning girl from a wealthy family, whose radiance alone threatened to dim Judy's existence. She recalled the years spent serving tables and juggling bills, with every penny earned intended to grant Tom a better future. Could she muster the strength for their perfect day when she felt so out of place? Judy watched as Tom, in his crisp tuxedo, walked toward his bride, beaming with joy. In that moment, her heart swelled with pride, but it was swiftly punctured by whispers from the elegant guests surrounding her. "Who is that woman? Looks like she just rolled in from the diner," one snickered, her eyes flicking disdainfully towards Judy. Another added, "How could he choose someone so ordinary?" Each word sliced through Judy, deepening the fissures of doubt in her heart. Her world had been built on love, but standing amongst the elite made her acutely aware of her meager existence. As the ceremony unfolded, she saw Emily's family exchanging glances. Judgment filled the air like smoke, as if they looked down from a throne of their own making. Emily's beautiful smile couldn't hide the ice behind it. When their eyes met, Judy felt the chill wrap around her like a cold blanket. Just when the vows were exchanged, revelry began at the reception hall. Judy hoped for a glorious moment filled with laughter, yet the tension remained thick. She wandered throughout the ornate venue, the decorators blending opulence with delicate touches that felt foreign. Then, it happened. An overheard remark that would change everything. "I can't believe Tom chose her. She doesn't even look like she belongs here." A wave of heat surged through Judy, her breaths quickening, and she felt tears sting at the corners of her eyes. "Enough!" Judy shouted, her voice breaking the cheerful clinking of glasses. All heads turned. The room fell silent, time suspended. In that moment, she confronted Emily, her voice steady yet raw with vulnerability. "You think I'm inadequate because I didn't grow up in your world? I've sacrificed everything for my son, and you dismiss my love as if it means nothing." The air shifted, electricity crackled between families. Emily's jaw tightened, and the wedding guests murmured like a dissonant choir, emotions raw and pulsating. "I've had to work for everything I've ever had," Judy continued, voice quivering. "Love is not measured by wealth, but by resilience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The tension hung like a storm cloud ready to burst. Judy felt the stares, some pitying, others gleeful. Just then, she noticed a flicker in Emily's eyes, and for the first time, Judy realized vulnerability resided just beneath the surface. What if they weren't so different? A glimmer of hope sparked within her. Could they find common ground? The air thrummed with intensity, and Judy braced herself for the answer that could redefine everything. Would love truly bridge the gap, or would it be the weight of their differences that unraveled them all? The room remained silent, each second stretching into eternity. Judy's heart raced. Emily met her gaze, eyes swirling with a mix of emotions. Was that fear or understanding flashing across her face? In that charged moment, it was as if the world outside had been muted. Mom Tom's voice broke through the quiet chaos, laced with concern and confusion. He stepped forward, his hands raised slightly as if to shield her from the tension. Judy's resolve shook slightly at the sight of her son. She had fought tirelessly for his happiness. This moment felt like it could either shatter or fortify everything they had built. "Just let me explain," Emily said, her voice wavering. The confidence that usually accompanied her demeanor flickered. She looked at Judy, then back at Tom, forming a silent triangle of tension. "Please, I didn't want any of this to happen today." "Then why did it?" Judy took a cautious step toward her, the the slight distance feeling heavier than it should. She saw Emily's hands grip the fabric of her dress tightly. This was it, the moment they would either address the elephant in the room or let it charge through unimpeded. Emily inhaled sharply, every eye still affixed on her. You don't know what it's like for me. Your world is different, and it terrifies me. A shaky breath escaped her lips. It's all so perfect all the time, and I'm afraid of not living up to everyone's expectations. A murmur rippled through the crowd, whispers of curiosity intermingled with intrigue. Judy nearly felt sympathy seep into the cracks of her heart. They were both standing on a precipice of expectations, each balancing precariously on their own fears. Judy's fierceness softened just the slightest, as if a window had opened, allowing her compassion to flow through. What are you afraid of, Emily? Judy asked, her voice gentler, more curious than accusatory. What do you really want? I want Tom to be happy, Emily said, a glint of vulnerability appearing in her eyes. But I worry that I'm not enough, that his happiness will come at the cost of his relationship with you, and I can't bear that. Judy felt the air shift again. It was no longer just about her own insecurities or those of the guests. It was about love and acceptance, a desire to connect rather than tear apart. Emily, you are enough. Being enough isn't about fitting into a mold but about embracing who you are. The words seemed to settle like a soft blanket, wrapping both of them in warmth, as the spectators fell into a thoughtful hush. Judy studied Emily's face for any sign of acknowledgement, any hint that her words had struck the right chord. Maybe, Emily started, hesitantly, we could talk more beyond today? Hope flickered in her voice, mingling with vulnerability. An unexpected smile broke across Judy's face, surprising even herself. I would like that. A genuine moment of connection, amid the chaos, ignited like a spark. Tom stood silently between them, his expression thoughtful. While the tension lingered, a new conversation had started, a dawn of possibility born from vulnerability. But just as relief washed over Judy, she noticed Emily's mother staring at them from across the room, her eyes narrowing in disapproval. The look felt like a looming shadow, threatening to cast doubt over their newfound truce. Judy's heart sank momentarily. What would happen when Emily's mother weighed in? Would they be able to continue this bridge they started to build? As the evening rolled on, Judy felt a flutter of uncertainty. They had taken the first step, but would love be enough to withstand the pressures from the outside? The night was far from over. Judy took a moment to breathe, trying to shake off the unease that crept back into her chest. The tension felt thicker again, as if Emily's mother were a storm cloud ready to burst. She glanced around, noting the expressions on the guests' faces: concern, curiosity, mixed with a hint of chaos waiting to unfold. Mom, are you okay? Tom's gentle voice broke into her thoughts, his brow furrowed with worry. He reached for her hand, grounding her in a way that calmed the swirling storm inside. I'm fine, sweetheart, she said, forcing a smile and squeezing his hand lightly. But deep down, Judy knew this moment was just the beginning. She needed to ensure that this fragile connection with Emily didn't shatter under the weight of judgment. Across the crowd, Emily's mother still glowered, arms tightly crossed, her presence a palpable barrier. Judy's heart raced again. Could they truly move forward despite the looming expectations of others? She turned her focus back to Emily. Let us step outside for a moment, Judy suggested, her voice steady. She could see the flicker of anxiety in Emily's eyes, but also a glimmer of hope. Tom nodded, sensing the need for this little escape. Together, they led Emily toward the outdoor terrace, the cool night air washing over them. The glow of string lights flickered against the dimming sky, creating a peaceful backdrop. Wow, it's beautiful out here, Emily murmured, taking a deep breath. She seemed to relax a bit, her shoulders dropping. It really is, Judy agreed. But what's truly beautiful is the connection we're building. I want you to know how much you mean to Tom. And, honestly, to me. Emily looked at her, bewilderment crossing her face. You really mean that? Absolutely. Family is everything, and I want our family to grow together, not apart, Judy replied, her sincerity palpable. Just then, the sound of footsteps interrupted their moment. Emily's mother appeared, tension radiating from her every movement. Judy's heart sank a little more. This was a conversation she hoped to avoid, not finished with their delicate openness. "Emily. What are you doing out here?" her mother exclaimed, a disapproving tone lacing her words. "You shouldn't be wandering away from the party. People are talking." Judy felt her stomach twist. "We needed a moment to breathe, that's all," she interjected, trying to maintain a calm demeanor despite the intensity bubbling between them. "Breathe? Or are you trying to take my daughter away?" The accusation was sharp, the air thickening instantly with anxiety. "Mom." Emily's voice rose in mild protest. "Judy and I are just talking." "Talking? It sounds more like you're trying to convince her you're something you're not," her mother countered, her voice dripping with skepticism and lingering anger. Judy took a step forward, frustration and fear clashing. "Emily is everything, and if you just give her a chance, I don't need you defending me," Emily interrupted abruptly. Her eyes blazed with an intensity that stunned both women. "I'm not someone who needs approval. I know who I am." The power of her words hung in the air, a spark igniting what had been stifled. Judy watched as Emily stood her ground under the weight of her mother's disapproval, fierce and brave. In that moment, something shifted. A newfound strength emerged. Judy couldn't help but hope that this would be a turning point, not just for Emily, but for them all. As Judy opened her mouth to speak, a feeling of excitement mixed with trepidation. "Let us talk about what's really going on here." But just as Judy was about to unravel the web of emotions hanging in the air, the buzzing of her phone interrupted. She glanced down, and the text read, "We need to meet, it's urgent." She felt a chill run down her spine. What was so urgent that it couldn't wait? Would it affect this fragile moment they fought to create? A rush of fear crept in, but she steeled herself, ready to face whatever lay ahead. What more could come crashing into their night? Judy's heart thudded in her chest as she read the message. Each word seemed to carry the weight of impending drama. The chill enveloped her like a thick fog, clouding the moment she was trying to create with Emily. She felt the desperation to connect fading, the warmth stolen by urgency. "What's wrong?" Emily asked, her brow knitting together with concern as she peered over Judy's shoulder. "Nothing, just a work thing." Judy tucked her phone away, but the seed of anxiety was already planted. She forced a smile, trying to shake off the unease that clung to her like a shadow. "Is it about my mom?" Emily's voice dropped into a wary whisper. Judy hesitated. While the lingering confrontation with Emily's mother still hung in the air, her mind reeled back to the urgent text. Was it related? Could this all intertwine? "Whatever it is, we'll handle it," Tom said, his voice steady yet comforting. He placed a hand on Emily's shoulder, his affection for her palpable. Emily looked between the two, her uncertainty flickering. For a moment, Judy could see the little girl she once was, caught in between the struggle of adulthood and the security of family. "We should go back inside," Emily said, her voice having regained a hint of strength. "I need to make things right with my mom." "I'll be right behind you," Judy promised, trying to hide her internal battle. As the trio stepped back inside, the atmosphere felt heavier. The voices of the guests buzzed with laughter and light banter, but it all felt distant, muted. Judy felt like she was walking toward an impending storm, the tension palpable as they moved back into the fray. Emily approached her mother first. "Mom, can we talk?" Her voice was softer now, but still held a measure of resolve. "Not now, Emily. You're making a scene," her mother shot back, her judgment piercing through the air. Judy felt her own pulse quicken. She wanted to intervene, but her instinct told her to let Emily be. It felt like a moment that could become pivotal for both of them. "Mom, please." Emily pressed, her voice steadying as she stood up tall. "I need you to listen to me. This is important." The sternness on Emily's mother's face softened briefly. "Tell me what's really going on." Judy held her breath, watching the dynamic unfold. Here was Emily, finally taking a stand, and for the first time, there was a glimmer of hope in the older woman's eyes. It was palpable, the potential for unspoken feelings to be voiced, the chance for healing. Just as Judy allowed herself to feel optimistic, her phone buzzed again. The urgency gripped her. Should she check it now, or focus on the conversation happening in front of her? She glanced at the screen. You need to come. No matter what's happening there. Judy's mind raced. Should she excuse herself? But the tent continued to loom. The wind would get stronger, and she couldn't leave these two without support. Heavy with a tangled web of emotions, she toyed with her next move. Just then, Emily turned to her and clenched her jaw, ready to bear the brunt of her mother's doubt. Mom, Judy is not. I'm proud of you, Judy interrupted, her voice breaking through the tension. You're not alone in this. That was when the unthinkable happened. As if on cue, the large tent above them cracked with a sudden gust of wind, sending a gust of icy rainwater splashing down. Gasps filled the air, and panic rippled through the gathering guests. Judy locked eyes with Emily's mom, who now looked even more unsettled than before, as droplets fell around them. It was chaos out there, and just beyond the chaos, Judy felt a ferocious urge to confront whatever awaited in that text message, the one that might change everything. Uh-oh, Emily's mother muttered, glancing up. This can't be good. But amid the turmoil above and the uncertainty below, Judy took a deep breath. What was waiting for her could be game-changing. She had to know. As Judy debated whether to step away from the growing storm inside or face the mystery outside, a new sense of urgency gripped her. What awaited her on the other side of that chaotic curtain? Would they weather the storm together or unravel as everything around them twisted into disarray? Judy. Tom's voice trailed off, laced with concern. The moment felt too big to ignore, and for Judy, it was as clear as the sky above. She couldn't just stand still. As decisions loomed, and fear twisted into determination, Judy understood one thing: nothing would ever be the same again. Judy took a step back, torn between the moment unfolding in front of her and the weighty message that demanded her attention. The wind rustled the tent, a haunting whisper that mirrored her thoughts. Emily was reaching a tipping point with her mother. Might her absence mean losing this fragile moment? But as Tom's voice faded into concern, one thing became undeniably clear: the truth outside could turn her world upside down. Judy. Tom urged, his eyes searching hers. A soft plea laced in his tone. Are you okay? She nodded, though her heart was in turmoil. A closer glimpse at the stormy sky overhead sent her instincts into overdrive. It was now or never. With a strong exhale, she made her decision. I need to step outside for a second, Judy said, urgency slicing through her hesitation. I'll be right back. The response came automatically, but as she looked back at Emily standing firm before her mother, that glimmer of hope ignited something in her, a belief that if the two could face their storm together, perhaps so could she. She slipped out of the tent. The world outside was drenched in sporadic sheets of rain, but her focus remained laser-sharp. The brief silence from the guests fell away, replaced by the roar of her racing heart. Judy pulled her phone from her pocket, her fingers trembling slightly as she swiped the notification to reveal the full message. It felt monumental, like opening Pandora's box. Some things were never meant to be ignored. Judy. The breathy whisper of a familiar voice caught her attention. She spun around to find her former colleague, Claire, standing in the shadows of the entryway, drenched but firm. I was hoping I'd run into you, she said, urgency etched across her face. What is it? Judy tried to keep her voice steady, sensing an undercurrent of urgency in Claire's demeanor. It's about the project launch. Claire hesitated, looking over her shoulder as if someone might overhear. I didn't think it could wait. You need to know, things are spiraling. They're calling in more resources, like we're in crisis mode. Judy's stomach churned. You could have messaged me. I tried. But I felt like this needed a face-to-face. Claire's eyes darted back to the blustering chaos behind her. You have no idea how bad it looks. They're even suggesting someone within the team. Someone? Who? The world around her began to swim as worry clenched tightly in her chest. Look, it doesn't matter right now. Of course, it matters. Are they pointing fingers? I can't afford to be under suspicion right now, not with everything that's happening at home. Judy's voice rose, rasping against the impending rain. Just promise me you'll be careful. There are people who would love to see this fail. Judy stepped back, feeling the rain pelting down as reality descended like a heavy fog. She pushed a hand through her hair, thoughts spiraling. The unpredictability of her work life was now crashing into her personal life, sending shockwaves that felt insurmountable. As she turned, ready to canvas the tumult back inside, her heart sunk at what awaited her. The tent was no longer merely a gathering spot, it was a battleground of emotions, brave souls fighting demons, and here she was, caught in the eye of her own storm, with urgency rippling through her. She headed back, each step heavier than the last. She had to be there for Emily. She needed to face the truth, for Emily and for herself. Questions swirled in her mind. Could she manage this collision of worlds? Judy. Emily's voice broke through the thrumming chaos, filled with intense emotion. Judy's breath hitched. What had she missed while she was outside? Had the moment turned to something darker? Judy pushed through the flap, eyes wide as the realization hit her. She was not only battling external influences but could also be unraveling from within. The emotional stakes were rising, and something profound slipped just beyond her grasp. Which truths lay ahead? Was she ready for what she might discover? The storm inside and out loomed ever larger, but one thought crystallized with clarity: Judy couldn't shake the feeling that as they journeyed deeper, the impending revelations might just change everything. As Judy stepped back into the tent, she was startled by the palpable tension that filled the air. The conversation halted abruptly, every head turning toward her. Emily stood there, tears glistening in her eyes, and Judy's heart raced as she took in her daughter's fragile state. What happened? Judy whispered, trying to keep her voice steady. Emily's gaze shifted toward her mother, then to her own mother, her voice barely audible. She said some things, Mom. Things I can't believe. The emotional weight pressed heavily upon them both, like a suffocating cloud. Emily, talk to me, Judy urged, stepping forward. The space around them felt constricted, the chatter of other guests muted, like they existed in a bubble where only they mattered. It just doesn't make sense, Emily continued, her voice catching. Why did she say she wished I was never born? It was during the fight. You weren't here to hear it, but that was just cruel. Judy's chest constricted at the words. Those were knives aimed right at her daughter's heart, and the storm swirling within her intensified. She felt the turbulent emotions threatening to spill over: frustration, anger, sadness. This was not how a wedding should unfold, yet here they were in the eye of a destructive emotional cyclone. Taking a deep breath, she reached for Emily, wanting to pull her close, but there was a barrier, a rift growing wider. You are worth so much more than that. You need to know that. Tom, lingering in the shadows, stepped into view. His expression was one of concern, an anchor in this stormy sea. Maybe there's a reason behind her words, he suggested gently, though his brow was furrowed with anxiety. People lash out when they feel threatened. Threatened? Judy's voice rose, disbelief grappling with her temper. Threatened by what? Hiding a monster in the family? The room's tension felt like a tightrope being pulled taut, threatening to snap. The eyes around them darted, some embarrassed, others mortified. Whispers swirled, a soft undercurrent of gossip entwined with the fabric of the moment. I can't deal with this right now, Emily declared, clenching her fists. Why can't she just support me? Why can't she see how wrong she is? The tears streamed down her cheeks as Judy instinctively took a step closer, enveloping her in warmth. I'm right here. We'll figure this out together. As the mother-daughter duo stood united, a surge of energy flowed between them. In that moment, Judy felt the weight of her own worries lift slightly. Emily needed her strength more than ever. They had faced many storms together, and this one felt different but not insurmountable. Just then, the other tent flaps rustled again with strong wind. The weather outside reflected the chaos within. As if echoing the tumult of their emotions, the storm intensified, the rain pelting down, almost like encouragement to fight through the darkness. Mom, what if she really hates me? Emily whispered, brokenness lacing her voice. No, Judy said firmly, lifting her daughter's chin to meet her gaze. Hate often hides deeper fears. I promise you, we'll uncover the truth. Before they could delve deeper, a sharp voice cut through the air. Judy recognized it immediately. It was Emily's mother-in-law, moving toward them with that familiar air of authority that often felt more demanding than nurturing. There you are. Emily, you need to focus on your husband, not on this mess. I've had enough of these dramas today. Judy's blood boiled as she glanced back at Emily, who was visibly trembling at her mother's words. Just let us breathe for a moment. Judy snapped, and silence fell heavy once more, solidifying the enormity of the moment. Could this confrontation lead to a greater understanding of hidden truths, or would it only serve to deepen the divide? As Judy stood there, bracing for the onslaught of the fight ahead, she realized that it all hinged on one single truth: love can be a powerful force, but so can fear. What would this moment reveal, and could they find hope amid the chaos? Judy felt the heat of the moment surge as she faced Emily's mother-in-law. The woman's piercing gaze seemed to cut through the tension like a sharp knife. Again, a flurry of voices raced through the tent, murmurs weaving their way around the small gathering. Judy took a steadying breath, reminded that she was not alone in this fight. Emily deserves support, Judy declared, her voice steadier than she felt. She's been through enough today without being attacked. She squared her shoulders, standing protectively beside her daughter. Emily looked at her mom, her expression shifting between gratitude and fear. Mom, maybe we should just know. Judy interrupted, her heart racing. She couldn't allow them to push her daughter into silence. You have every right to be heard. The mother-in-law braced herself, crossing her arms. And you have every right to step aside, Judy. This is not about you. Isn't it? Judy countered, her voice fierce. This is about family, about how we treat each other. You can't just belittle her because of your expectations. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw some guests exchanging anxious glances, shifting uncomfortably in their seats. Was anyone listening? Emily's face contorted with conflict, her earlier anger lost beneath layers of hurt. Mom, maybe it's best to just drop it. No. The word escaped Judy's lips with a force she didn't intend. She turned back, kneeling beside her daughter, attempting to bridge the emotional gulf between them. Listen, love, the truth here is vital. It shows who your mother truly is. And it's more than just words, they reveal fears, insecurities, and yes, love hidden under layers of hurt. As Judy spoke, Emily's expression softened ever so slightly. There was a flicker of understanding, maybe even hope. Everything felt suspended, and Judy could almost taste the electric charge in the air. Then, something unexpected happened. Emily's mother-in-law shifted slightly, looking uncertain. The authoritative veneer cracked, just for a moment, revealing a hint of vulnerability beneath. But you have to realize, Emily, she began, struggling for the words. I only want what's best for you and your family. Emily, still trembling, took a step back, absorbing her mother-in-law's words like a sponge. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like you're pushing me away. The rain outside came down harder, a constant roar that somehow seemed to echo their tumult. Judy looked toward the sky, frustration bubbling inside her. Was the universe trying to send them a sign? Sometimes love is wrapped in confusion, Judy said gently, trying to diffuse the tension again. You can care deeply and still not know how to show it. A crack appeared in the facade. Emily's mother-in-law softened, her expression wavering beneath the weight of unspoken truth. I don't mean to hurt you. I just don't understand your choices. Emily's breath caught, and there was a moment of shared struggle. This was the connection they needed, the bridge to understanding buried truths. Then ask, don't dictate, Emily replied, her voice firmer now. I'm still finding my path, and I need you, not your judgment. Just then, the crowd stirred, a ripple of anticipation coursing through them. Eyes widened as they prepared for the next act. What would it reveal? Would judgment surface again, or could they forge something new within this family storm? In that lingering silence, Judy realized they were on the cusp of a transformation, one that could change everything or shatter them further. Emily's eyes met her mother's. A silent question passed between them. Could they truly weather this storm together, or would the rain wash away their hopes along with the very truths they longed to uncover? With a deep breath, Judy stood tall, bracing for whatever lay ahead. Each heartbeat echoed like a question: what would break first, the barriers, or the love they so desperately wanted to preserve? The atmosphere in the tent shifted, thick with uncertainty and unacknowledged emotions. Judy locked eyes with Emily, feeling their silent connection strengthen. In that moment, it became clear to her that they needed to take this next step together, no matter how daunting it felt. "Emily," Judy said softly, urging her daughter to speak up. "Just tell her, be honest about how this makes you feel." The pressure in the air intensified as Emily's gaze moved back to her mother-in-law. The older woman seemed to shrink a little under the weight of her scrutiny, her rigid stance wavering. Each moment felt stretched, like an elastic band ready to snap. "Fine," Emily took a deep breath, her voice trembling slightly. "But I need you to listen, without judging. I'm not the daughter you expected. I need you to support me as I am." The room seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for the rain outside to echo the storm of emotions brewing within. Judy watched closely, hopeful for this breakthrough they so desperately needed but terrified of the potential fallout. "Why is it so hard for you to accept my choices?" Emily continued, her voice gaining strength. "I want to be a good mother, but I can't do it feeling like I'm always in your shadow. You may want the best for me, but it often feels like a prison. Not every decision has to look like yours." The mother-in-law's eyes narrowed slightly, and Judy could see the thoughts swirling behind them. For a fleeting moment, the woman was vulnerable, stripped of her usual authority. "But I only wish for you to be happy," she replied, though it sounded more like a plea than a conviction. "By pushing me into a mold of your expectations?" Emily shot back, her voice rising just enough to echo the tension. "You need to understand that I want to build my own family, with my own beliefs. I want you to be a part of it, but not if it means losing myself." The sound of the rain began to mellow, just a bit, as if listening to the struggles inside this tent. Guests murmured among themselves, glances exchanged, some nodding in understanding. Judy sensed their collective breath being held, caught between hope and fear. Suddenly, Emily's mother-in-law took a step closer, her arms uncrossing, a sign of surrender perhaps. "I never wanted you to feel trapped," she said, barely above a whisper. "I just wanted you to be safe." The words hung in the air, both heavy and hopeful. It was a moment of recognition, a fragile truce dawning over the war of wills. Judy's heart swelled. Maybe this could be a turning point. "Safety isn't the same as control," Emily replied gently, compassion filling her voice. "I need to carve my own path, and I need a family beside me, not in front of me." The vulnerability in Emily's voice resonated with her mother-in-law. Judy could see the acceptance starting to take root, even if it was tiny and tentative. It was a first step toward unity, even amid the chaos of familial expectations. Just then, a loud clap of thunder resonated outside, startling the entire gathering. Eyes darted up, and a palpable gasp rippled through the crowd. Was this nature intervening, or a sign of something more profound? "Maybe this is a storm we can weather together," Judy said, her voice steady. "Maybe we can transform this moment into something that heals instead of divides. What are we afraid of losing, and what can we gain?" As rain continued to pour softly over the tent, Emily's mother-in-law looked around at the crowd, and then back at Judy and her daughter. The moment felt ripe for something transformative, but a flicker of uncertainty still danced in her eyes. "Can we just take one step at a time?" she asked, her voice softening. Judy felt a rush of hope. Yes. This was it. They could rebuild, starting from today, from this moment. Thoughts raced through her mind. Would it be enough? Would they truly embrace the change? Before she could answer her own questions, the tent door flapped open, and in stepped a figure silhouetted against the storm. The collective gasp from the crowd suggested this entrance might change everything once more. Who? had just walked in, and what would they bring to this already charged situation? The silhouette moved closer, the rain-soaked figure slowly emerging from the shadows. It was a young woman, her hair clinging to her face, cheeks flushed from the cold and adrenaline. Emily's heart dropped as she recognized her. It was Sarah, her sister-in-law, the one she had not spoken to in months. "Sarah!" Emily exclaimed, feeling both relief and confusion wash over her. The warmth of family was palpable, but so was the awkward tension that had surrounded their recent estrangement. Why had she come now, at such a critical moment? "I couldn't stay away," Sarah replied, her voice slightly shaky as she pushed her hair behind her ears, making sense of the crowd. She seemed taken aback by the charged atmosphere in the tent. "I heard the thunder, and my heart told me I needed to be here." Emily's mother-in-law stepped forward, her brows furrowing. "What are you doing here, Sarah?" "This isn't exactly the time." With an earnest look, Sarah shook her head, cutting her off. "No, listen. I came because I couldn't let this moment slip by. I've been thinking about everything, about how we need to come together instead of drifting apart, especially now with the wedding. It's bigger than us, bigger than any of our misunderstandings." There was a weight to her words, a desperation that caught everyone's attention. Emily could feel the hope lingering in the air, mingling with the apprehension. She wanted to cry, but the dam of her emotions was still holding together, just barely. "Sarah, we have so much to talk about," Emily began, but Sarah interrupted. "I know." And she hesitated, catching her breath. "I know it feels all broken right now. But can we please try? I've held on to too much anger, and it's stifling me. I don't want this wedding to be a battleground." The room shifted, a collective leaning in, as if the group became a single entity, driven by the same longing for connection. Emily was surprised to feel a smile form on her lips. Maybe things could change. Maybe they could mend these rifts they had all created, together. "You're right. We need to face this, all of us." "I want to support you, Sarah said, her eyes glistening. "I want us all to feel safe, not just with each other, but with ourselves." Judy looked from Emily to Sarah, her heart racing. She could see the flickers of healing sparked in their eyes, the possibility of something greater than their past conflicts. Just then, a different thought crept into Judy's mind. She glanced out of the tent at the storm raging beyond. Beneath the chaos, there was promise. Rain could cleanse. It could nurture. Perhaps the relationships needed this kind of storm to pave the way for lush growth. As she returned her gaze to the two women, she felt a swell of warmth. "We all need to forgive. It's time to release what's holding us back," she murmured, her words laced with urgency. "It's time for us to truly support each other together." The tent seemed to hold its breath again, and an electrifying moment hung heavy in the air. This could be the spark they needed. Could it really be possible to shift the tide? Just then, another clap of thunder echoed outside, and the world felt as if it were on the brink of something new. Would they be able to break the cycle? Would the storm outside be enough to clear the air within? As Emily looked at her sister-in-law, the floodgates of her heart began to open. But before she could fully process her emotions, the lights outside the tent flickered, dimming to almost nothing as thunder rolled again. In that enveloping darkness, a singular thought struck her. Was this moment just the beginning, or would the shadows swallow them whole? As the rain drummed steadily, Emily felt the weight of the future raw, uncertain, and full of potential leaning heavily upon them. Would they embrace this new chapter together, or allow their fears to dictate their path? As Emily stood there, her heart racing and conversations swirling around her, she felt a shift in the room, a breath of hope rising amidst the storm. The tension still crackled in the air, but perhaps it was not the end. Maybe this was the beginning of something profound. "Can we please put everything aside for a moment?" Sarah's voice broke through the murmurings, strong yet gentle. "We're family. We're supposed to lift each other up, not tear each other down." Her words hung in the air, as if they were a balm for the bruised relationships within that tent. Judy took a step closer to the sisters. It was time to grasp this moment. "You're right, Sarah. We need to turn this into an opportunity," she encouraged, her voice steady. She looked at Emily and Sarah, then at Emily's mother-in-law, whose expression softened just a touch more. What if we shared our fears and regrets? What if we talked openly, no judgment, just a genuine desire to understand one another? Emily hesitated, glancing at the faces in the crowd, faces that had once been strangers, but now felt like important pieces of her mosaic, people who could lift her when she felt low. I want that. I want us to be honest, to say what we've kept inside for too long. The crowd absorbed her words, a reflective silence falling over them. There was a chance here, a rare window of vulnerability, and Judy dared to hope that if they all opened up, they could create something stronger than any fear. Let us not let this moment slip away, Judy urged. Let us make it count. She met the gaze of Emily's mother-in-law and saw the fight in her falter, a flicker of old worries that had held her captive. This is your chance to understand her, Judy said softly. She's not a reflection of you, she's a new person, a daughter in her own right. With a deep breath, Emily stepped forward, her voice shaking slightly. Mom, I've always felt that pressure to be someone else. To live up to this perfect image you've created. But I'm not perfect, I'm just me. And I'm scared that if I don't fit that mold, I'll lose you. Tears welled in her mother-in-law's eyes. Oh, Emily, I never wanted you to feel that way. I thought I was protecting you. The older woman's voice was fragile, breaking slightly with honesty. But I see now it's suffocating you. The sound of rain softened, the storm outside beginning to change, reflecting the warmth of their emerging connection. This was a breakthrough. Judy felt it in her bones, a pulse of relief flowing through the tent. Maybe we can somehow map out what we all truly want, Sarah suggested, looking at Emily, and then at her mother. I want to support you both and be part of this. I've not always done that, but I want to start now. The path opened, and Judy saw the potential for healing gathering momentum. That's it. This is not just a wedding, it's a reunion of hearts, Judy said, her voice becoming more passionate. We've all lost sight of what really matters, love. The crowd seemed to shift subtly, like a wave beckoning them toward reconciliation. Can we start with a simple truth? Judy continued, her heart racing with hope. Can we all agree to let go of assumptions, of expectations? Can we promise to simply love our way through this? Emily looked at her mother-in-law, a glimmer of determination in her eyes. I want to be close, a family again. I just need space to be me. And I need you to tell me what that looks like, her mother replied, the weight of possibility settling softly between them. Then, the sound of gentle applause broke through the heaviness. Other guests were touched by this moment, their support echoing in soft murmurs. This was their collective awakening. As Judy stood there, the warmth of camaraderie wrapping around them, she felt a burden lift off her chest like fog dissipating with dawn. In that tender space, beneath the gathering clouds and the sounds of rain, they forged a new family bond, a commitment to acceptance and love. She watched as each woman slowly nodded, acknowledging one another, mending broken links. Their hands reached out, tentative but hopeful. And Emily, shining amidst the storm, grasped her mother in a warm embrace. Together? She whispered. Together, her mother replied, wiping the tears from her cheeks. As cheers erupted from their loved ones, Judy knew this transformation went beyond the immediate moment. They would continue to grow, sharing not only the burdens of the past but also the joys of their relationships. The rain lightened, and Judy stepped back, letting the joyful realization wash over her. She could see their future unfolding like a wide, open path, glistening with new promise. At that moment, she realized love indeed conquers all, binding families together as long as they chose to embrace their truths. And as Emily looked back to share a radiant smile with her mother, Judy's heart swelled with a profound sense of gratitude. They had navigated their storms together. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your voice matters to us. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now, and this is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.